Oh my God. Hello, Mr. Ramsey. I
Hi.
have a question. I did stupid on steroids. And we just we just purchased a car in June. Please don't get mad. 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
And we gave of that 5,500 was for the sales tax and $6,000 down. And we're looking into we tried to give it back to the dealer. They wouldn't take it, and we went to CarMax, and we're looking into losing like another $2,000. And I don't know if it's okay. And right now, my husband just got on disability again because of his back, so we're just unsure. I feel stupid losing that money, but then I see stupid all over around the car when I see the stupid purchase we did.
Mm.
What do we do? What do I do?
Yeah. What's your household income, sweetie?
120.
That's good news. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Run it back over at CarMax and give them $2,000 and get out of it.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Does that feel free? You feel free now?
Yes, it does. It does because I keep back and forth.
Well, every time you look at it, you can't catch your breath.
Yes. I even drive it like, oh my God, all scared and just stupid all around.
Yeah. You don't want stupids looking at you in the driveway every day. That's going to be a long life. So, yeah, you need to get rid of this. You need to get rid of this thing. You need to get rid of it quickly while you still can, while the getting is good.
Do you guys have another car?
Okay. Yes, my husband has a truck. It's paid off. It's worth 20, but we need two cars. In LA, we just need the two cars. And I did have a car. It was reliable.
You have any money?
Yes, we do. Thank God we do.
How much money do you have?
We have 25,000.
Okay, good. Take 10,000. Go buy you a car that's reliable that you need just to get around with. Then you got two paid for cars, and you make $120,000 a year, and then you clean up whatever other debt you've got, and you put your emergency fund back in place, and you're going to be.
Currently, I'm a nurse at a hospital in Lancaster that is going to be mandating the COVID vaccine, which I'm not sure if I'm going to get it yet. So I'm looking at possibly doing a career change. We have an 18-month-old, and our second baby is due August 24th. If I don't get the vaccine, it would be my firing date would be September 1st. We're in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. We have about $55,000 in retirement with my work. We both have IRAs that have about $3,000 each. We're putting in money for our first child's college fund monthly, and we were putting about $400 extra on the mortgage. So I guess my question is,
how much is in the emergency fund?
The emergency fund right now has $15,000. So
and what's your household income?
I bring home gross about 63, and then take home for my wife. She owns her own business. She's bringing around like $1,000 to $1,500 a month take home. Mm-hmm. I don't know what her gross is. Okay. But we probably bring home about $4,500 a month.
Okay, so August, July, and the rest of June.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got 75 days.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. For them to either change their mind or you get a different nursing job. Why don't you just get a different nursing job?
There's
a shortage of nurses.
Two, I know. So the thinking is that's a possibility. So I'm really into finances after discovering you, and I have been in talks with my financial advisor about becoming a financial advisor myself, if that would fall through. And I'm also looking at other nursing jobs. The only issue that I see with that is it's one of the largest companies hospital-wide in Pennsylvania on the Philadelphia side, and I believe everyone's kind of just watching to see how many nurses and people leave.
Well, that's happening everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
And the point is, and you're well aware of this, I don't need to tell you this, but I'm just going to remind you of what you already know. there's a lot of places that have nurses that are not hospitals.
Yeah.
Taking my call. I have just really complicated situation. I'm going to try to distill down to make the most of this call, but potential separation coming up with my husband. He's active duty military, and he makes a good living, and I work part-time and homeschool, and just facing if we were to, separate, that, we've been making great traction together, and besides all the emotional stuff and everything, but I've got him on board with Dave Ramsey and Chris Hogan, and we've been paying down almost $50,000 of debt in the past 3 years, and basically I'll go down to just making probably bill money, and I'm just wondering how I can prepare for that. And we talked about maybe staying together just for a financial thing, but like not being, he would be a geographical bachelor. I wouldn't PCS with him anymore. So just wondering what your advice might be on that.
Well, I'm sorry you guys are facing this. I would, number one, if you're facing something this serious, you need to get a pro in your corner. And that means you guys need to be sitting down with a good, strong marriage counselor who can coach you guys through how to make good, wise decisions. I didn't hear anything, just from a common sense perspective, healthy about you guys staying married just for financial purposes. That's weird.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, that just sounds weird. That's just a guy talking. I'm not a professional, but I mean, it's just sounds weird. So,
we still love each other. It's just he's kind of like, there's so many good things, but he's decided to change genders. So I would love to say, hey, let's be friends for the rest of our lives that are married, but that just seems weird, right?
Yeah. Staying married in that situation is going to be very strange.
Yeah.
And so, I think someone coaching you, a good counselor, can coach you through how to set some, processes and boundaries in place to, to create a timeline. And then, even though this sounds, you said all the emotions are there, but it also sounds like you guys are just talking about this all still, in terms of you've got a good dialogue going, it sounds like, so that's good.
Yeah.
But
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I'm a huge fan of yours and the Dave Show. So I'm gonna try to keep it concise for you.
Okay.
I'm 33-year-old woman. I live in Houston. I'm single, and I'm a full-time teacher. I make $56,400.
Okay.
I do Uber sometime on the side, and I have a health coaching business that I've started that I'm not currently making any money in, but I'm working on it. And I feel like I've been budgeting, I've been doing the things, but I'm not saving anymore, and I'm not paying any extra towards my debt because I feel like I'm really just getting by. And so I'm trying to find ways to reduce my debt right now because it's really making me feel like a little desperate. I do want to be debt free, and I feel like unless it's just a lot of stress around like trying to grow a business that's not making any money and trying to find ways to hustle to pay off this debt without taking away from that. And so I came up with the idea yesterday of what if I sold my vehicle? I have about $80,000 in debt.
Okay.
$20,900 comes from the vehicle. $6,500 comes from consumer debt, which were investments that I made in coaches to help me grow my business, and the rest is student loans. The vehicle itself is worth about $14,000, but being a dumb kid in my 20s and rolling over into my 30s, I've rolled over my old debt into a new vehicle. And so I'm negative in that vehicle. And so what I thought about doing is going to a dealership and trading it in for a used car to lower the actual debt. So if all in with the negative equity and the car payment being under $10,000, I feel like I would be able to get rid of that sooner than the 2 years that it would take to pay it off.
Yeah, but what you're going to do is just roll over that negative equity as well, though, into that,
Yeah.
Chantel. So I think what we got to do is just step back and reassess the entire financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you make $56,400 a year, right?
Yeah.
When you do Uber, like if you were to get hyperintention.
I was studying at West Point, and when I went abroad my senior year, I acted a fool and got myself kicked out right before I graduated.
Oh, Lord.
So now I owe the government about $300,000. And while I was there, I also took out a personal loan of about $35,000. I recently got married in May, and my wife, she can't work right now because we're waiting on her green card. I've bounced around a few jobs since then, and my one I'm working on now is on a bad job, but I'm not particularly passionate about it. And I'm actually on my way now to do my orientation for Domino's. I'm going to go deliver pizzas as a side job, but I don't really know what to do. I had my career path to be in the Army, and I thought I was going to figure it out then, but right now I don't know, I feel like I'm working, and to pay off all this debt, it's going to take me a long time, I feel like.
Yeah. How old are you?
24.
Okay. So you were how close to graduating from West Point?
The day before, they told me I was getting separated.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. What a disaster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm the one that misbehaved, but
yeah,
I take responsibility for that.
I understand.
A tough situation.
Yeah, you did it, but what a mess. So I am not positive. I mean, obviously that is the preeminent military war college. Do those college credits transfer to another college?
Yes, sir. I actually transferred them and was able to get my degree last month.
Okay, that's good news. In what?
I got one of those stupid majors you talk about because I plan on being in the Army, but it's in Russian studies.
Okay, but that was the closest thing for you to finish.
Yes, sir. I ended up finishing up with the same degree I was studying at West Point.
Right, okay. But at least you come out with a degree. Okay.
All right.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think, what I'm going to do, what drew you to Russian studies while you're in the military? What was obviously you were studying it from a military aspect, is that right?
Right, and I just fell in love with the language. I was originally a math and econ major, but I wanted to go abroad.
I'm struggling with feeling like if I approach my mother-in-law, I disrespect my husband, because my mother-in-law talks negatively about me to family and friends when she is upset. And honestly, I'm not sure why. It started shortly after we became married. We've been married almost 6 years, have 2 great children, and it's just kind of getting worse. So I know I can't control other people, but I want to support and respect my husband in every which way because he leads a wonderful family. And
so give me an example.
But at the same time,
when she gets upset, give me an example of that.
Mm-hmm. So the most recent was she was in a disagreement with her other son, and she then called him disrespectful and isn't sure where he learned that and said that I must be rubbing off on him as well.
So did he immediately tell his mom, "Do not disrespect my wife"?
No, that was her son, her brother-in-law.
That was my brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
But he shared that with my husband, and yes, my husband immediately talked to her and said, "Don't ever do this again."
Oh, good.
Good for him.
But this is it's not the first time, and I know it's not going to be the last time.
So what's her reaction
so
when her son
like,
calls?
What do we do?
When her son calls her on the carpet, your husband, and says, "Hey, Mom, you can't talk about my wife like that. Come on, what's your problem? Stop it." What did she say?
Right. There's no apologies. There's blaming of either him or I. She's never wrong with it.
Okay.
So there's really two choices you got.
Right.
Choice number one is let your husband know, hey, I'm feeling this burning in my soul. I want to sit down with her and just ask. I'd love to make peace with the grandparents of the grandmother of my kids.
Right.
You'd have to understand, and you make peace with the fact that peace may never come.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, you've got to unhitch yourself from this woman who's just choosing to bring poison into your life.
Me and my wife are fine, and we're stronger than ever. But my wife last night, she has an issue being around my mother alone. My mom has went and turned around, and I've never witnessed it, but my mom has went and talked to her, talked down to her. And I'm trying to be faithful to my wife, and not faithful, but loyal to my wife. But I don't know where to go with this.
So we were just talking about that with this blinds.com call. When you say talk down to what did your wife tell you? How about that?
Her name is Katerina.
Okay. What did Katerina? She came to you last night and what'd she say?
Well, she didn't say anything. I was talking to her because we're planning a trip out to them. Mm-hmm. I live in Vancouver, and my in-law or my family lives out in Ontario, and I left Ontario because I needed to make a drastic move because my family and her have never gotten along, and we have a 10-year-old in the mix of it. So I'm trying to do what's right by my wife, and I've never heard my mother say anything. So I don't, and I'm not saying that my wife is overreacting because
your wife
doesn't hear this.
Tanner, is your wife lying to you?
I don't think so. I honestly, like, she has no reason to lie.
I don't care about any of that stuff. Is your wife lying to you?
Okay. No.
Okay. Then I want you to sit down and hear your wife, let her be open to you, and then at some point you have a responsibility to go to your mom and say, this stops now.
Yeah.
Because I pick her over you. And if your mom's going to act like a child and your mom's going to run your wife down, which by proxy is going to run down your 10-year-old in the mix here, then your mom is self-selecting out of your relationship. And I know that's a hard conversation, and it's an uncomfortable conversation, and it's a conversation, but this is one of those hard-line moments, right?
It is. And Tanner, I can even hear it in your voice, though. He wants to do the right thing for his wife.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't like my wife. Sometimes it's pinned the other way where the wife's the bad one, in the situation. But you're in a marriage and your number one is your wife. And I feel that from you. And I think sitting down and having that boundary conversation, it'll either clear it up and it'll stop it, or it's going to cause more friction between you guys.
Well, I think it clears up either way, right?
Yeah.
Tanner, it's important you don't go, what's up?
So my daughter is about to turn 1, so this is kind of thinking far in the future. Mm-hmm. But you often talk about how more is caught than taught. Mm-hmm. And my husband and I grew up watching our parents put their tithe in the offering plate. And now my husband and I are paying our tithe like once a month online. So I was wondering if you had any ideas short of starting to write checks again.
No, I would not do that.
Our daughter, how that we tithe instead of just talking about it.
Well, what I did when Rachel and Denise, even Daniel, but more Rachel and Denise were 10 or 12, they graduated to sit at the kitchen table when I, in quotes, did the bills. You know what I'm talking about, right? We used to sit down with a stack of bills at the kitchen table with a checkbook.
I was wanting to know whether or not to pay off my mortgage, or I'm about to inherit some land, and we want to save to build a house. which one would be the better option. We owe about $50K on our house now, and we earn about $14K by Airbnb in it.
Okay. Well, it's kind of the same thing, because you're going to sell your house to pay off, to build the house eventually, and so paying off your house is like saving it, because you're not going to keep it. Not and go get a mortgage on your new house you build. Not if you do what I tell you to do anyway. So, no, I would not keep a paid-for house as a rental and then go take out a mortgage to build a house. No, I would not do that. So I'm going to tell you to sell your house at that point when you're ready to build, so the money's going to come out of it, and so either way the money's going to be available for the build.
Okay.
That makes sense?
So mainly just throw it at the mortgage. That way it's for sure saved.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. If you decided to go build a home, you could take out a construction loan, which is what most people do, if they're going to borrow money, that is, to build a home on the land. And the bank doing that's going to require you get a pre-approval for your permanent mortgage. That's called a takeout letter, to show that you can convert the construction loan to a permanent mortgage at the time the loan is finished. And part of that will be, we're going to sell our house like the month before the house is completed. So we move in, and we're going to free up all of that money, and it'll be the down payment and you'll have a mortgage or no mortgage or whatever you have at that point out of that construction loan. So the construction loan will be larger than the permanent because you'll sell your house. Hey, Chelsea, what's up?
So I do have a question. So I'm in baby step 2, but I just had this aha moment where I know what I want to do with my life. And I found that I want to start a business organizing homes, but
good.
In order to do it legally, I'm going to have to put some money into it, which is it's not going to be any more than $5,000 to start it.
Whoa! It does not take $5,000 to start a home organizing business.
Well, I have to get licenses and
no, you don't.
Certain classes and whatever.
You don't have to take a class on organizing. You are already an organized person. Look up organizing on YouTube and watch it for 5 hours. You will have become the most educated organizer on the planet. And then just hand out some cards and go to people's houses and take their money for that. You don't even need to get licensed. It's not illegal to operate a single-person service-oriented business where you go to someone's home out of your home on a small scale in any municipality. You've built this up to be way bigger than it is. Just go do some work and make some money.
Okay.
How much are you going to charge?
I was thinking probably $100 to $200 per room.
Where'd you get that number?
Out of my butt.
Well, probably ought to do some more research than that. Oh, Lord of mercy. I'm losing it.
I'll take over. Yeah, so,
please pick up so I can laugh.
I was going to say, home organizing, it is like a fad right now. There's a lot of Instagram accounts. There's a lot of people doing it. So you will be able to do it well. And then ask around from different competition around to see what they literally are charging.
Go online and start doing some research for home organizers in your area and try to find out what they're charging. And so what you do is you study
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I really appreciate it.
Sure.
I've listened to you for years and years.
Okay.
I'm calling because I have an interesting situation. I've been married for almost 25 years, live about 10 hours away from our in-laws and the rest of my entire husband's family. They own his parents they own a lake house, and they came to us recently and asked if we'd like to buy in. They own it outright, but they told us in the next couple of years they would like us to make a monthly payment to keep it running, and then they would then turn it over to us in about the year 2023. My husband and I kind of sat down and did the math and decided to not do that.
Good.
His other two siblings opted in. We opted out.
Good.
But there's two problems there. Number one, we're the only weirdos that left the family and left the state, and we're also weird because we follow your plan to a T and are debt free except for our house. So,
and you're 10 hours away from the lake house, so there's no reason to buy into it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they see
Logical.
us as having a lot of money, and so why wouldn't we? Because it's such a small
because
amount
we
of
don't
money.
want to, and it's our money.
Correct. Yes, exactly. And now they are going around the family telling everyone that we have opted out of our inheritance.
Well.
And I'm struggling how to explain to them that's not inheritance.
I just wouldn't. Just let them do whatever they're going to do. I mean, they're just...
How you doing, Mr. Ramsey?
Good. Better than I deserve. How can we help?
All right, sir. So I just kind of stumbled across your teachings. I haven't really dived into it yet, but I am in $90,000 worth of, overall cumulative debt. And I'm just kind of like at a loss of like, should I file bankruptcy? What should I do, especially when I have like garnishments coming against me or starting to come against me? So
scary times, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what do you make it? What's your household income? Are you married?
No, sir, single.
Okay. What do you make?
I make about $40,000 a year.
Okay. What are the garnishments on?
The garnishment is on this old credit card debt. It's like $5,000 dollars total on that one.
Did they tell you they were going to garnish you, or they actually turned it into your employer?
They actually. So I had a garnishment hearing today.
Okay.
So
it's
gone through.
They're really doing it. Okay. And what other kind of debts are in the $90,000?
All right. So I do have $70,000 student loans. I have about $10,000 collectively with just credit card debt. $8,000 just medical bills and other like unsecured debt.
And you're working 40 hours.
Well, I'm working right now. I'm working about 50, 60. So I'm taking all the overtime I can get. Really,
that leaves you at 40,000 income.
No, I just started this new job. I was a teacher before.
Okay, so with you working all this OT, what are you going to be making?
I expect to make about between 50, 55 when it's all said and done.
Well, here's the bad news: is you're not bankrupt. Here's the good news: is you're not bankrupt. Student loans are not bankruptable.
Right.
So you wouldn't file bankruptcy on $20,000, man.
Gotcha.
You go to work and work on a plan and work your way through this. You got to beat this garnishment off with a settlement offer of some kind. Have you got any money at all?
I mean, not on hand. I could probably liquidate. I do have like $500 in a stock portfolio through Robinhood that I can liquidate and get.
Let's start gathering some money together and try to offer the people that are garnishing you about 20 cents on the dollar if you can, which on 5,000.
With this housing market the way it is, I don't know if I should jump on the bandwagon and try to outbid somebody like others I've seen been doing, or if I should just wait till it cools off and go from there.
How much do you have saved?
I have $65,000 saved in an account. Then I also have $140 in investments, thanks to the Smart Investor Pro program. So thank you, Dave, and your team.
Cool. The investments are in retirement accounts like Roth and so on?
Yes, mutual funds, some retirement stuff I rolled into an IRA.
But it's all in some kind of a retirement, or is some of it in just miscellaneous mutual funds?
Both, mostly in mutual funds.
Okay, I'm going to try one more time because I'm still confused. It should all be in mutual funds, but is it not in Roth and IRAs of some kind?
I'm sorry, it is Roth.
Okay, all of that, it should be. I was thinking it was. Okay, so you don't have anything that you can cash out of investments without retirement penalties, right?
Incorrect. I have about 50 of that I put cash towards that I could pull out whenever I wanted.
Okay, that's not in a Roth IRA or not in an IRA of any kind.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, then I would use that 50 and I would use this 65 together for your down payment. I want to put as much down on this house that does not cash out retirement to put down. Now,
okay.
Here's the thing. And you're out of debt and you have your emergency fund, right?
The only debt I have is about $17,000 towards a truck.
Well, you have to pay that off before we can have this discussion.
Okay.
So when you get off the phone, go pay that off.
Okay.
Then we're going to take the what's remaining with you're at about $100,000 roughly to put down the house then between the 50 and the 50, 65 minus 17.
And you've got an emergency fund?
The 65 includes that emergency fund.
Oh my gosh, so we don't have that either. Okay. All right, so we got to break that out. So your 3 to 6 months of expenses is set aside, and you've got 48,000 of the 65 left because we just paid your truck off, and you finish your emergency fund. Because we do not recommend buying a house till you're debt free and have the emergency fund. So that's where we're trying to get you to.
Okay.
Which you can be there with what you have. You just need to think about it differently.